Sports Illustrated with this little nuggy. Teams are monitoring Chauncey Billups' situation in Portland, league sources told SI Now. The Blazers are rebuilding and just parted ways with two assistants, including Billups' brother Rodney. If Billups-Portland split, Billups would quickly emerge as a candidate for other jobs.
The interesting thing here is that in the postseason or end of season exit interviews, Chauncey Billups mentioned that, he wanted to be a part of winner, and he didn't come here to be, to coach what he's coached. But he has taken his lumps and his lot in life and coached the team that he's had in front of him. This team is not going to be a winner next year.
Nope.
And that's intentional because, as we just said, they need to get that guy. And we've talked about this so much. We talked about this, I think, last week. Nobody wants to be Brett Brown. Yes, there's only 30 of these jobs in the entire NBA. Still, nobody wants to be Brett Brown. Nobody wants to be that coach that loses 350, 400 games.
If you don't know Brett Brown, process Sixers head coach Brett Brown. They said, we are going to stick right by him the entire way.
Brett Brown's coaching record is 221 and 344.
Yikes.
He has a winning percentage of 39. The same winning percentage as the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yikes. Franchise. As a franchise. Historically. Very bad.
So basically, he got his teeth kicked in for 4 years.
Yep.
Nobody wants that. Number one, it's not fun. It's like, oh, you should be happy to have one of those jobs. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and see how happy you are in a job where your job is to get your teeth kicked in.
It's miserable.
It's the fact that the locker room has been what it has been for the last couple of years has been a modern day miracle.
Yeah.
They have brought in great guys, the assistant coaches, Chauncey, the players. All of them have been very good about keeping morale high when they have plenty of reason to have it not be that way.
Yeah.
When you're losing 50-plus games a year.
Okay, what is the impetus of this strain in their relationship? Because even though Chauncey did say that, we also had these conversations of, look, they know the assignment moving forward. There was going to be kind of some loyalty back and forth between both sides of this, in that there was an understanding amongst the organization that Chauncey has done a really good job. Of those guys, they weren't good, but they played hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like reality. And Joe Cronin said it. The reality is our roster just isn't good enough right now. But they played hard for Chauncey Billups. That's a really tough thing to do, as you just said. And there was that understanding from the organization that this was not going to be an indictment of Chauncey moving forward, what has happened over the last 3 seasons. But as you look at the greater 2 seasons, the greater landscape of things here is, what side is frustrated? Is it Chauncey or is it the organization with the split? Because Mannix doesn't have that in there. It kind of seems like he's saying it's a split with the organization in Chauncey.
This sounds like the way Mannix has it phrased is, again, teams are monitoring Chauncey Billups' situation. Portland league sources told SI Now the Blazers were building and just parted ways with two assistants, including his brother. If Portland and Billups split, Billups will quickly emerge as a candidate for other jobs. And that, if you listen to that, if there's a split, I think the split would be Chauncey Billups being a lame duck coach, because coaches typically don't make it to that point. They either have an option picked up, an extension done, or they get fired. Terry Stotts was the last time that they had a lame duck coach, and that whole season was weird.
That was weird.
Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. The players don't like it. The coach doesn't like it. The front office doesn't like it. It's a dumb spot to be. I believe that was following the New Orleans series, because everybody was looking for change then and how it was going to go down. And Dame basically saved Terry's job. But I would look at this and say that Billups probably went to go get an extension or to get his option picked up, and the Blazers said no, because next year is a fork in the road. I think that's the reality of this.
No doubt about it.
Then I'm talking about not this season coming. I'm talking about after
26.
next summer, going into 25, 26.
Yeah.
Because this season is about sucking so that you can be in a running for an Ace Bailey, a Cooper Flagg, a franchise-changing guy. If the organization is going to want you to sell hope and for you to buy tickets and be interested, they're going to lose a lot of games. I have no issue with that. I think it's the right path for them to go down. Understand that going into this season. Like, get it out of your head of like, well, they said that they want to be competitive. Sure, they want to be competitive while losing 62 times. Like
20 and 62.
I'm just saying, it wasn't that far off this year. But it's because of what they want to see at the end of that road, which is having a number one guy, which we just got done talking about. And if all of a sudden you have that number one guy and you have Scoot and you have Shaden, whether they move on from Ant or not, and you've got a core that you're working with, then you bring in a new coach. Because the tanking period is done. And the tanking coach never stays.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. Especially the only one you can, drop air quotes on they stayed is Dagnall. But he stayed on a much shorter time period. And they also knew kind of what was going to come out of that with SGA.
He was a promoted assistant.
Yeah.
So there's big differences there. And
came up organizationally with their G League.
That is where you sit there and you look at this is all of a sudden becoming a far more important offseason for a variety of reasons, because the next coach has got to be the guy who sees you through that next year, which is going to be a brutal run. And then your prospect moving forward of fielding a competitive and actually good roster, not just competitive, but a good roster moving forward. A lot of movement gonna happen.
This is a massive summer for Portland on so many levels. Oh, and by the way, the lottery's in 5 days. 4 days.
Right. That's right. Sunday, Mother's Day
at noon.
Portland's good at winning those, I hear.
They did just win $1.3 billion.
That's right. We should send that guy.
Yeah,
we're on a hot streak.
I saw Hyken had the news yesterday that Scoot is going to be the rep for the Portland Trail Blazers. And you're going to have, I think we should send the dude who won the $1.3 billion. That's what they need to do.
I bet you he can afford it.
It's a couple. It's like...
Well, I know. It's a guy, his wife, and one of their friends he split the money with. But no, send the guy who bought the ticket. Because...
Ooh, there you go.
Good juju.
Or did he use all of his juju up?
Nah, it's okay.
That's not how juju works.
You
can't use all your juju up. Don't be silly.
To be fair, the Blazers are saving their Brandon Roy juju for next year.
Ooh, send Brandon Roy then. I like it.
Send Brandon Roy with lottery guy.
Yes.
All of their juju powers combined.
In like a stepbrother situation where lottery guy's sitting behind Brandon Roy and he just kind of pops out and's like, I can help with this Cooper Flag situation here. This
then we get
Pam situation.
Juju Watkins and Juju Smith-Schuster and send them also. More juju, the better.
All the jujus. All the jujus.
Maybe some jujubes.
Yeah, Yeah, get those stuck in your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most annoying candy.
Lock your teeth together like you're locking in that first overall pick.
So good.